What's going on, guys? JPS back with another video, and I'm here with Arturo.
What's good?
And today we're going to be reacting to the British education system. So obviously you guys do things a bit different over there, and education is really one of those. There's so many more options when it comes to education in Britain, I feel like, compared to the United States. But this is a Joel and Leah video. We've checked out them before. Make sure you guys go subscribe to their channel. Really like their content. And I still have a lot to learn about the British education system. Quite a bit of it confuses me. Do you know anything about it
at all?
So this is all completely new. And yeah, guys, hit that like button, hit subscribe. Consider joining the Patreon. First link in the description for full reactions to British shows and movies. And let's get it.
Hi, I'm Joel.
And I'm Leah, and this video is going to be about the British educational system in the United Kingdom.
Before we get going, don't forget to click subscribe if you haven't already. We post videos every week. And don't forget to go and follow us on our Instagrams. We post there daily. And you're missing out if you're not.
We watch each other's story.
Yeah, Leah's my favourite Instagrammer.
Likewise for Joel. So in the UK, in England specifically where we live, we have gone through the British educational system. Let's start at the very beginning.
A very good place to start.
So if we're going to start at the very beginning, preschool, or as we call it, nursery in the UK, is where a child would go from age... Well, you can actually start, like, if your parents are full-time working, you can put your child into nursery from 1 year old.
Yeah, I think so. All the way up until about 4 when you start school. But yeah, you don't have to go. It's not a legal requirement. It tends to be for parents that, like Leah said, are either working or if you want to get your child a bit integrated and used to being away from...
Like all school? Or wait, were they saying just little kids school?
No. They're saying it's optional. It's like from ages 1 to 4, it's optional to send your kid to nursery. Okay. So I don't know about you, but I went to like a preschool too. Because my parents were working, so they just sent me there during the day. And, you know, you go in the sandbox and the playground. Yeah. And I don't remember too much from it.
Me neither. I there's like pictures I have and stuff. Like I went to more of like a daycare type of thing. It was like...
Yeah, I think that's what mine was too.
It was like this one woman. She had she was like, it wasn't even like a legit company. It was like a woman, and she just had hella kids in there, and she was just such a good good caretaker. And it was like I looked like I was having fun. I don't remember it, but it looked like I was having a good time. So
that's all that matters.
Then at age 4, you go to primary school, or elementary school, as I believe some people call it. Not here, we don't call it elementary. I'm just trying to touch all the bases. American.
Yeah.
I don't know what elementary school might be in places in Europe. Just primary school is what we call it here.
And it's from, I think it's from like the term before your 5th birthday or something, or like anyway, it's around late 4 to 5 is when you start. And you start by going into, we call it reception or year R. Reception
is what we call it. That's so sweet. Isn't it? So reception is the first year in school.
Yeah, and that's the cutest year. You start year 1, 2, 3, all the way up until year 6. And by that point you should be...
Okay. So this is primary school. I would say pretty similar. Like reception is compared to like kindergarten.
I guess. First grade, 2nd grade, 3rd grade, 4th. Yeah, I was like 10 when I was in 5th grade. I was like 11.
When did we go to middle school?
Yeah, I 11. I remember I was 10 in 5th grade and 11 in 6th grade. Yeah. But I think I'm a little like bit behind the curve because like I have a July birthday. So like people are like around that same age. Yeah. So like people like around that age, like 10, 11, 12, and you go to middle school.
Yeah. So pretty similar. I'd say almost identical actually in terms of primary school. But I think things differentiate in after secondary. Let's see.
10 or 11 in year 6?
You should be about 11. You have exams. I think they're called SATs.
SATs, yeah.
That determines what set you'll be
SAT?
in. Set 1, set 2, 3. When you
basically,
go to high school.
how clever you are.
Because when you turn 12, you go to big school.
Big school. Which we call secondary school or secondary school.
Yes. Okay. So it might be referred to as high school, but over here we call it secondary school, or informally it might be called big school. Yeah. Because you've just come from little school.
The little school. Well, you're a big fish in a small pond, and then you're a small fish in a small pond.
Yes. So in my primary school, there were 30 people or less. In
30?
Secondary school, there were 150 in every year group. I know there's a school near me, and
we got bigger grades, bro.
Yeah,
because my grade was like 800. Yeah, 800.
Oh wow, yeah.
But that's a smaller school.
I would say in our county too, there's definitely bigger schools because we have really good schools here. Yeah. And my high school, I think there was like definitely over 1,000 people.
Just in the grade?
No, not in the grade.
In the school, though?
Yeah, in total. So like 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th grade. And yeah. And also, another thing, too, like, I guess America is the only place that calls it, like, high school. Because I know, like, in Spanish culture, they say secundaria, which is, like, secondary school.
Yeah, and here it's secondary.
Yeah, and we call it high school.
I think it's also because we have, like, well, there's no real word for... It's elementary school, middle school, and then high school.
Right.
It's split into 3. Here, it's, like... elementary school straight into high school. That's basically what they're saying. Yeah. You're sending a middle schooler into secondary school but they didn't say when the cap is, so I don't know how old you can be in secondary school.
Right.
There's 1,000 in each year group.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Crazy, massive. So every secondary school has their own specialism as well in the UK. Oh. The one I went to was a performing arts specialist school, so all their facilities were like amazing, based around the arts.
Amazing.
But you can get sports-based schools, you can get science-based schools.
Sports-based? What?
Technology specialist school.
So you probably have loads of great, like, computers.
Amazing stuff.
Yeah. That's between ages of, like, 11 and 12 to 16.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some people...
Okay, that's a big difference.
Yeah.
So their secondary school ends at 16. Our high school ends at 18.
Yeah. And you're 12, I guess, yeah.
So one thing I've noticed among Brits and some of the culture and shows I've reacted to, there's a show I'm watching called Skins, and it's about British teenagers.
Uh-huh.
And like some of the things they get up to, like all the drug use, the sex, all the stuff, they're doing it at really younger ages, I would say, compared to what I've seen in the United States.
Really?
Yeah, like, and I think, I don't know, I could pin that on this maybe, like grouping the 12-year-olds with 16-year-olds. Because in middle school, it's max like 11-year-olds with 13 or 14-year-olds.
Right.
You don't have that
big of an age gap.
Yeah, and you don't have those kids who would be in high school hanging with those kids.
Yeah, that's true. So those younger kids probably get a lot of influence from the older ones. Yeah, definitely.
Treat them right. Oh no.
People might call the year group grades. I think in America it's grade.
So, yeah. But their grades don't match our year groups, so year 6 isn't necessarily grade 6. That's why it's confusing. Yeah, you go all the way through from year 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
In year 11 you have exams.
Yeah, GCSEs.
Then you have choices to make.
So then you can decide to stop your education. In the UK, you can stop school at 16. You're okay to just go straight into work, do whatever you want.
At 16?
Or you can go on to study, and from there, you'll either go to 6th form or college.
Yes, 6th form or college, or apprenticeship. An apprenticeship,
yeah.
Which is kind of the same as going away to work.
Mm-hmm.
But you have choices. We both chose to go to college.
Yeah. So the main difference between college and 6th form, traditionally, 6th form was when it's attached to your secondary school. So you go year 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 6th form. So you do 2 years of 6th form.
Okay.
But a college is a completely separate institution. So you go years 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 at school, and then you go to a completely different place and you do 2 years at the college. Mm-hmm. But both of our colleges call themselves a 6th form when they weren't attached to a secondary school.
Bizarre.
That's just
need to sort that out.
Yeah.
It's not clear.
No. I prefer saying 6th form.
Sixth form sounds a little bit more posh. The reason being
like a cool name.
Because at a college in England you can choose to study things like hairdressing, plumbing, vocational studies, things that aren't academic might be offered at a college, whereas at 6th form it would just be A-levels, which are maths, English, science, languages.
Yeah, I did English language, psychology, history and drama and theatre studies.
So my A-levels were maths, which I dropped at AS, English, theatre and media.
That's good.
Which is a nice mix. When you finished college, obviously you go on to university, but university is...
So they have college and then university. And for us, it's just like college, university are kind of just similar things, but I guess the university is better, I guess.
I don't know really the difference between university and college in the United States. They're kind of used interchangeably.
Yeah, they are.
I'm going off to college.
Yeah.
I think, but oftentimes it's called a university, but we don't refer to it as university. We refer to it as college.
Exactly. I mean, I'm in college. That's what if someone asked me, like, what do you do? I'm in college right now. I wouldn't say I'm in university.
In Britain, that is only referred to as uni or university. There's no other, because college is what they just describe as that 2-year period.
It's separate. Oh, okay.
So they have a lot of, they got that 2-year period.
Yeah.
Then they got uni. So you see there's a lot of independence in that.
Yeah, definitely. At a young age too.
Yeah.
16, wow. And I thought 18 was kind of young too. Like, wow.
No, that's the thing about the US is like we're really behind the curve when it comes to ages. Especially with the damn drinking age. But whatever.
Not for a set amount of years. Whereas school and college kind of is. University can go on for years and years and years, depending upon the subject you choose to take.
Mm-hmm. So as a rule, at university your course will be 3 years long. Also, you will pick your subject before you go, which I found this out from my old American flatmate, that in America you don't do that. You kind of just go to college, which is their version of university, and you sort of take loads of different modules. So you could do a module in art, and then you could do a module in science, and you could do a module in this, and then you end up getting your path towards what you want to do. Whereas in the UK, you choose your subject, and then that's it. So after going to drama school, I chose to study English and linguistics at university, and that's what my degree was. But in the US, I think you can just choose loads of different little bits.
I'd prefer it to be like that.
Yeah.
Then I might have gone.
Yeah.
I think the thing with that is like, I can understand, like, so the U.S. makes us take, they have like gen ed requirements you have to fulfill. So you have to take English, right? I mean, at least at my school.
You have to take math, English,
right? You have to
science.
Yeah, exactly. Like you have to, like my school, like you have to take a lab. There's certain requirements you have to fill off, and like, I don't think it's a terrible thing because I feel like it makes us a little bit more well-rounded and it introduces us to some new things. But at the same time, I can also see from another perspective why you would just want to focus on your career path. But it's just like, I don't know.
So I think it works better there because they have more time to figure out that career path. Because you have the college before the university, then you have the secondary school where you already majored in something or the school was focused in something. Mm-hmm. But in the U.S., everything is kind of just like you know, high school is kind of the same thing. We have all these requirements to fill out. You're never really focused on something unless you're in a special program.
Right.
If you go through the motions of high school, you're
like
gonna have
to
take
something.
Everything. Yeah.
Right.
And it's the same way at uni. I think the problem with it is you're making people, and this has happened with me, I've had to take required courses that I just had no interest in taking. I will never revisit the subjects that I learned at any point in my life because they're infuriating to me and not interesting remotely. Yeah. So it's just, and that is also like a kind of a waste of money in that sense.
Yeah, that's another thing, because we are paying a lot of money, so it's like...
You should be able to do what you want to do.
Yeah.
But, again, to bring it back, sometimes you'll take a course you're required to take and it'll spark a new interest. But how often does that happen? Do you think people are frustrated more about having to take it, or...
Probably frustration.
I think so too.
Yeah, because like I've taken like a gen ed where I was like, I'm not too interested in this, but if it fulfills multiple requirements, I'm gonna just take it. But I ended up liking the class a lot, so I was like, damn, like that never would have happened if I just didn't do that. So it's like, but I definitely think people would get more frustrated. I hear a lot more complaints about, I have to take this shitty class and I don't like it, and yeah, exactly. So I can see that. Like I'm in like my second year right now, and I haven't really taken like courses that are super specific to what I'm going to be doing outside of college. Like I'm just taking super base level, and like I'm not really going to get into those type of courses until like my senior year. So it's like,
it is frustrating.
A little bit, because like these first 2 years I'm kind of just out there, and then the third year is when I find out, okay, am I actually going to like what I think I'm gonna like?
Yeah,
like that's how it feels.
Yeah. I agree with you there.
It's very hard to pick one thing that you want to do for that amount of time.
Yeah.
And nothing interested me that much to want to go and do it.
Yeah.
Other than doing, Joel and I went to drama school, and that really obviously interests me.
Yeah.
So that's why I did it. And it's expensive as well.
That's why to be singing like that randomly.
Going to university in the UK
the beginning.
are $9,000 a year.
Yeah. No.
9,000 a year.
But a few years ago they were only 3,000 a year. But we can't really complain, because I know that in some countries, like, you pay like tens of thousands per year.
Really?
Us.
Maybe.
Us.
I know some kids paying like $80,000 a year.
Bro,
I'm dead serious.
Yeah.
To go to an out-of-state school.
Right.
That's where they get you guys. So if you go to a school out of state, it's like they charge out-of-state tuition.
Yeah, and it's just way more. Sometimes double, triple, quadruple. Like, it's insane, and it's just like, why?
your parents have money and you want to be in that sorority.
Literally, like
that's what it is half the time.
That's crazy how they can justify that and people still like do it. They pay the money, like, and it doesn't look like it's like there's not a lot. I don't really like. I see some complaints, but it's like not too much. Like not to the point where I see it ending anytime soon.
Yeah, it's
probably just gonna keep going up.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and they don't have student loans either. The government will pay for us to go to university, but then we have to pay them back. But it gets taken out of your pay when you get a job, just like 20 quid a month, like just comes out of your bank account to pay off your loan.
Okay.
That's kind of
education in the UK, in England specifically, on the whole, can be done for free up until the point where you get to university, because then it's a choice.
Yeah.
Going to university isn't an option. I didn't go, so you don't have to go. But if you want to go, it's £9,000 a year.
Yeah.
So, additionally, you can pay to do college and school if you choose to go private rather than comprehensive. But I know it can be really confusing when you're talking to someone about education, and they might say, I'm in grade da-da-da, or I'm this, I'm a sophomore at college. What does it mean?
Yeah, it's really confusing.
So
also with the whole public school, private school, state.
And here too, it's even confusing for us because there's the whole credits thing. So it's like, this is my second year here, but in my credits, I'm technically a junior. So it's just like, okay, like at this point, I don't even care anymore. It's just like, I don't know.
So far, this has been really good, though. I feel like I have a way better grasp of the British education system. Before this, it was just like a bunch of ideas floating in my head.
Yeah.
But they're kind of tying some loose ends for sure.
Okay. Yeah.
But we'll see if we think it's better.
In the UK, public school means private school, and so does private school. But in the US, public school means state school. Yeah, free.
Yeah, the word public school here means they've paid.
Yeah. What? Neither of us went to public school, because public school is also like
what?
Harrow, Eton. Like it's very
it's very
that's
like
very confusing.
Correct.
Yeah, I don't know how the words to explain it because neither of us went. But I'd say we went to private school rather than public school because that's something slightly different.
Yeah. So I hope that's made it a little bit more clear, especially for people who are trying to understand what the education system is like over here.
Whenever they mention, I guess they're British public schools, but really the private paid schools, I always think of like Hogwarts.
Hogwarts?
Yeah.
Yo, that's actually hella funny.
But this was an interesting video. The show I'm watching right now, the kids are in college, so they're in that 2-year period, and those kids are such a mess. These teenagers, they're getting up to no good.
Wait, did she mention how long university is?
I think it's 3 years instead of 4 years.
Okay.
And then you pick your course before you go to uni, and you work on that for 3 years. So what I've noticed with them is there's a lot of decisiveness, like especially when talking about secondary school and how they're focused on technology or an art-oriented school. You have to make that decision to go to that school at a really young age, and you may not know yourself that well then.
Yeah.
So
most likely don't. I mean, at least I know I didn't.
Yeah, I definitely didn't.
Yeah.
But that's not necessarily a bad thing because you try something out, and it's not like it's only an art school. Like it's just focused on that. It has everything there.
Right.
But that's interesting. I kind of like their system.
Yeah, and also, what was I gonna say? It sounds like the university is kind of like us getting a master's degree, because when we get our master's degree, it's all focused on what that thing is.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think there's like other like BS requirements.
No.
So it's not like their university is kind of like our master's degree, and it sounds like our bachelor's is like their college.
Yeah, which is only 2 years and 5 years in total.
Yeah.
But they start kind of a year or two earlier, so you get out around the same time.
Right.
They're just kind of starting a little bit earlier, and there's more options.
Yeah.
And then also, that's just the school version. They mention apprenticeships.
Right.
Or just skipping that. Going after secondary school, you don't have to go to college or university. You can go straight into the workforce at 14, 15?
Yeah, that's wild.
I mean, I think there's legal, because my little brother Ben, he wants money, of course, as little brothers do, and he's been trying to work since he's like 10. He's like, Mom, Dad, I'll work at McDonald's. I don't care. I just want money. So he's been trying to convince them. But we have labor laws in place, especially if you're a legally complying business. you have to report, and they're not allowed to have young kids working. I think it's up until like 16. You have to be part-time or something.
Yeah. Like you have to get like a whole work permit. I had to do that whole little shenanigans, like all that red tape.
They make it hard, bro.
Yeah, but it's not like you go online, do a little work permit and stuff, and then you got to go get a sign. But it's a little hassle. But it's just like.
I think that just stops a lot of people though. If that weren't
definitely.
there,
they would probably
there's a lot of like misinformation around it too.
Yeah, exactly. And also, I completely forgot what I was gonna say.
It's fine. Overall, though, guys, it's hard to say which system is better. You know, there's always going to be pros and cons with any system.
Right.
There's a lot of problems within the United States education system, and something that she mentioned in this video, saying that university or schooling in general is free up until uni. Yeah. I was like, what do you mean by free? Are the taxpayers funding it? Like, and that leads us into a whole different conversation that we're going to have to cover at some point, which is British taxes.
Right.
And they do things I can guarantee it's way different than here.
Mm-hmm.
Anywhere you go in Europe, there's probably going to be more taxes than the United States.
Yeah.
We're not the best with taxes.
Yeah. And
no one wants to pay it.
Exactly.
We're extra big on not paying taxes. And
Bro.
A lot of people don't pay taxes. And
yeah.
A lot of very powerful people find ways to not pay taxes.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically, it's a game of how can I find loopholes in the system and not play my part.
Literally,
that's what being American is.
Like I've heard of like millionaires. They'll just have all their expenses, like they'll just spread them out so that their salary really is zero, and like they'll just have all their money and assets. You can't tax income that's zero, but they're actually rich as hell. They got everything.
They do like the donations to charity, and all types of stuff
to get tax breaks and everything. Like they just know. Like,
they know, and when you're rich like that, you just pay someone who already knows all that.
Yeah, exactly.
I know the politicians be crazy when it comes to taxes, bro.
Yeah,
they're not paying no taxes. But anyways, let us know what you guys thought about this. For those of you who did go through the British education system, college and uni, what was your experience like? Tell us in the comments down below. You know, what would you change about it, or if it was a perfect system? I doubt that'll be the case though.
And one more thing, she said like there was like £9,000 to pay university each year. So is it just like? Is it different for every university, or is it just very similar across all universities?
That's a good question.
Or does that vary a lot? Because
our tuition's different, isn't
it? It varies very differently from like different schools, depending on the size and what they have to offer. So
yeah, a lot to cover in this one. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, hit that like button, hit subscribe, and we'll see you all in the next one.